Basketball Society.
What's poppin', everybody? Alex Fischbein back again with another week of Fisch's Friday Rant by way of the Basketball Society. Make sure you check us out on iTunes. If you're listening to the podcast, welcome. If you're listening on YouTube, welcome as well. And what a time to be alive. And no, I'm not quoting Drake and Future's newest mixtape or album, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying what a time to be alive because we got preseason that's full swing right now. We got a lot of basketball going on. The WNBA finals are being played, and it's awesome. Just seeing all this basketball going on, just feeling that basketball season is back. I'm loving it. And I mean, I know the rest of you guys, all the other NBA fans, all the other basketball fans in general out there loving it too. We're like, what, 18 days away from the start of regular season? I mean, it's only a little over 2 weeks, guys. Season's coming quick. So, what I want to talk about today is a little bit of the preseason. I want to talk about the hilarious situation between Matt Barnes and Derek Fisher, too. And a little bit about the Hornets and MKG. So, preseason. I actually want to show you guys these three clips. These three clips are probably my favorite plays of the preseason so far, so I'll let you watch them real quick.
Here the Sixers take a tie, go in front with a three. Wilbekin, can he get it off for the lead? Yes! Scotty Wilbekin buries the three with 1.3 remaining. And the Sixers lead for the first time.
And what a great play drawn up by Brent Brown. Very compact, not a lot of moving parts, but it gets Scotty Wilbekin at the top of the key with a wide open look at the basket. He's able to step into it and knock it.
So the benches are starting empty a little bit. And that's DeLon Wright, though. We need to talk about him in a second. Here's Bennett going over. Up shot to throw it down. The former #1 pick with authority.
You're talking about a nice move there. He just overpowered everybody there. That was a number 15, ready for takeoff. And takes off, and wow, that's the way you finish in the.
Caspi hurries out of backcourt and then loses the ball. Knocked away by Archie Goodwin. Picked up to get it out to Lure. Lure goes in for a wham, bam, slam, and he jammed that one over DeMarcus Cousins. Oh, brother.
Little preseason basketball, a lot of effort, a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed things going on, but it sure is exciting.
And the fans respond. 3 minutes, 12 seconds remaining here in the half. And the Suns with a 44-42 lead. Wow, back after.
So, the first one, I mean, you guys should know by now, yeah, I'm a Sixers fan. I mean, in my writing and everything, I stay unbiased. I'm not going to say, like, oh, the Sixers are going to win the championship. That's not what's going to happen. Trust me. But seeing Scotty Wilbekin come in and knock down that game-winning three, that was awesome. I know it's preseason. You can keep telling me, oh, it's only preseason all you want. I still got excited. I mean, any true fan of their team or just of the game is going to get excited about any game-winning shot, let alone like a three-point buzzer beater by a rookie who may or may not even make the team. So, I mean, Scotty Wilbekin's three was, I mean, that thing just looked beautiful. The whole play set up by Brett Brown was just really simple. Just hand the ball off, set that pick, let him hit the three, and he got it, and then he was like, hit that dab right after. That was great. But second play, Anthony Bennett throwing down on the Lakers. I mean, I was taken aback a little bit. I was looking at that play, and I saw him throw that dunk down. I'm just like, is that still Anthony Bennett, or is that a stunt double? I mean, no disrespect to Anthony Bennett at all, but that was a crazy dunk, and I'm really hoping we see more of that in the future, because if Anthony Bennett can reestablish his career and make people believe that he's not like a complete bust. I mean, he was a #1 pick, so there's definitely some lofty expectations for Anthony Bennett's career. But I'd just love to see the guy just go out there, ball out. There's not really that many expectations for him anymore after like getting shipped out of Cleveland and then not making it on Minnesota. So there's not that many expectations for him. So he should really just be calm, cool, collected, relax, and just ball out for Toronto. I mean, he's back home in Canada. Might as well just have fun with all his friends and family around and the home court advantage and everything. So I'd love to see Anthony Bennett play well and just silence some people and show them that he can really, or he does really belong in this league. Now the third one, I was really surprised because I wasn't expecting DeMarcus Cousins to get posterized in the preseason, let alone the regular season. And John Lure, of all people, was the one to do it on the Phoenix Suns. I mean, yeah. Now it wasn't like to the extent of like Richard Jefferson's big dunk or anything like that, but the big man still got up there on the break and he still put it down on top of Boogie, and it would look like a great play to me. I mean, granted, we're not seeing like a Vince Carter-esque jump over a 7-footer, but I mean, hey, when you're John Lure, if you can get it, if you can dunk it on top of a guy like DeMarcus Cousins, who's looked at as one of the best, if not the best center in the league, he got some pretty nice resume material for that. Anyway, so things I've taken away from the preseason, I mean, as we all know, it's just preseason, but these guys are going out and they're trying to prove that they belong on their roster, they belong in the league, and some old guys are just shaking off some rust. Like, you got Kobe out there against the Jazz where his first shot went off like the top side of the backboard when he tried to put one up over Gordon Hayward. And, I mean, it's going to happen. He hasn't played in 6-7 months, I think. So, especially like coming off like a shoulder injury, you gotta get back into the swing of things. You gotta get that shooting motion back. You don't know if the shoulder is gonna still hurt or not. So these guys have to shake off some kind of rust. And of course, Kobe's first made basket was another contested shot over top of Gordon Hayward. But Gordon Hayward looked really good for the Jazz as well, especially on the steal that he got on that pass to Kobe, and he like threw it around the defender and came out of bounds and dropped off that great pass to Rudy Gobert. That was an amazing play, and if you ask me right now, it looks like Gordon Hayward's the only surefire thing that looks like a star or a superstar for the Utah Jazz, because it's a star-driven league. We all know this. We all know that the NBA, if you want to win a championship, you have to have at least one star on your team. And right now, it looks like that could be Gordon Hayward for the Utah Jazz. Now, we don't know anything else. We don't know if maybe Derek Favors could turn into a star, or maybe Rudy Gobert. We don't know yet because they're all still pretty young. But Derek Favors has also looked pretty good as well. And I mean, if you have that combo of the small forward shooting guard and the power forward who can both be stars in the league, I mean, you got a pretty good recipe to build around and make a team to eventually go on to the championship and maybe make some noise. But for the rookies, I mean, Jahlil Okafor has looked pretty good. His first game against the Wizards, he had Marcin Gortat even say, like, oh, he's on my list now. I'm going to have to show him a thing or two the next time I see him, because he made some pretty nice, difficult shots early on, and he was like 4 for 4 to start that game. Struggled a little bit against the Cavs, but still managed to get 12 points and a few rebounds in there. And then D'Angelo Russell has looked all right. He hasn't looked like outstanding. He's still obviously made some rookie mistakes in there, but, you know, I mean, he's a rookie, so there's time for that to iron itself out. And Karl Anthony Towns' first preseason game, that he looked pretty well too. He played some good defense. He got the boards. He pretty much gave you what you expected, especially from a number 1 pick. So, I mean, the top 3 picks are looking good so far. And then you got Mario Hezonja, who looked decent for Orlando as well. I believe that Mario Hezonja is going to be later on a great player in the league. Probably a solid starter. I don't know. Maybe an all-star. Maybe. I'm staying at maybe. I don't know about a star in the league. Like, I don't think he'll be like the superstar of the Orlando Magic, but I mean, anything can happen. It's still their first year in the league. The one person I think the dark horse to win Rookie of the Year, and personally I thought was one of the best players in the draft, Stanley Johnson. I really think that he's going to make a lot of noise, and he's going to get playing time on Detroit, because Van Gundy said it himself that they're going to play Stanley Johnson a lot. And I think he has the skill set. I think he's just going to keep getting better. And I think he could probably win Rookie of the Year. I mean, in my head, the top 2 right now, I'll go top 3. Number 1, I would put Stanley Johnson. And then 2A, 2B would put D'Angelo Russell and Jahlil Okafor. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's going to have a little bit of difficulty just because there's a pretty big logjam at the guard area for the Lakers with Clarkson, Lou Williams, Nick Young, Kobe, and himself. It's going to, I mean, he's still going to get minutes, but it'll be tough. So anyway, on to this weird situation of Matt Barnes and Derek Fisher. The original story that was reported by the New York Post, that I also posted on our website, the Basketball Society website, was that Matt Barnes left training camp, drove 95 miles after being tipped off by his twin sons that Derek Fisher was at his ex-wife's house, which was the house that him and her used to share, and he went all the way down there and fought Derek Fisher from the backyard all the way to the living room. The cops were called, and Derek Fisher got out of there before the cops came. Now, when I first saw this story, I was dying laughing. I was like, you know, I'm not even surprised. Like, Matt Barnes would be the guy to do this. We all know Matt Barnes is the guy who is like the enforcer, the bad boy, who will go out and fight somebody for your team. He will take it upon him to defend his team, and he'll fight somebody. Now, I don't think that he would go to the lengths that Ron Artest, or a.k.a. Meta World Peace, did in the Malice of the Palace, but he's proven to show that he's ready to fight anybody, and he's ready to curse out anybody, even fans, and he's been fined for things like domestic violence with that same ex-wife. He's been fined for tons of things in the league, screaming obscenities at the fans, fighting people, all of that. So, to be honest with you, I'm not surprised that Matt Barnes is in this whole situation. What I am surprised about is that Derek Fisher is in it, because you're the head coach of the Knicks. You're not a player anymore. You're the head coach that has to show his players how to act on and off the court. You have to be there to mentor them. You have to be there to coach them. You have to be there to make sure your players stay in line. And you're out here taking a private jet from New York all the way to LA to go talk to and mess around with Matt Barnes' ex-wife. And then you get in a fight with him. And then you tell your own team about it because you don't want them to learn through the media before they learn through you. And like, I'm just sitting here thinking, what are like the young guys like Porzingis, Jerry, and Grant? What are they thinking? They're just sitting there like, so let me get this straight. You fought a player of the Memphis Grizzlies, and you're our head coach. But we had a preseason game like the next day or the next couple days, yet you were still in LA. What? I would be so confused if he started telling me that. If he was just like, yeah, I got in a fight with a Memphis Grizzlies player, Matt Barnes. Did you win? Why were you in? What? Come on, man. This is exactly when you need that ESPN NFL Sunday Night Crew. Their come on, man section should be this whole story. Just come on, man. Oh, wow. and then the ESPN reporter Ramona Shelburne reported that Barnes said he was only 15 minutes away. He didn't drive 95 miles from training camp. He said he was already out of training camp. And he said that he was FaceTiming his sons and saw that his son Carter had a weird face and he was kind of acting weird. That's a better way to say it. And he drove down there because he thought his sons were uncomfortable. But he still fought Derek Fisher. And he was like, I can't believe people think I'm this crazy guy who would drive 95 miles listening to Tupac and ready to fight somebody. Well, you didn't really give us a reason not to think that. Just saying. Anyway, getting off of that topic, I just want to talk about Michael Kidd-Gilchrist real quick. Now, everyone keeps saying, oh, KiddGilchrist wasn't that great on offense. He didn't really give much to the Hornets on that end of the court. It doesn't matter that KiddGilchrist wasn't that great of an offensive player for the Hornets. He was the key component of their defense. He's like Tony Allen for Memphis. I mean, in an interview that Clifford had with who was it? Matt Moore of CBS. He said that the reason they can play defense and that they have great help defense around the rim is because they let their wings play on an island. They don't give help to their wings because they know they can play defense. He said, with KiddGilchrist on the wing, we don't need to give him a help defender because he can do that by himself. He can lock down his own defender. So that means you got 4 other guys worrying about just 4 people. You don't have to worry about the guy that KiddGilchrist is covering. So if KiddGilchrist is perfectly fine and they know he has his spot locked down, that gives you so much more flexibility with guys being able to rotate, being able to switch on their side of the court with the players that they're covering, being able to rotate down low to cover the rim. It gives you just so much more abilities or options, I should say, to help with the other players on defense, especially when you have KiddGilchrist covering the better offensive guy on the other team. Like, now with KiddGilchrist out, you don't have that kind of insurance that, oh, he's got his man, we can just worry about these 4 players. Now you got to worry about all 5 again because KiddGilchrist isn't there and he might not be there for the entire season now. And to be honest with you, I thought KiddGilchrist was one of the more fun people to watch in the league just because of how great he was on defense and how he could just really lock down one player and force them into bad shots and force them to work for every shot and make them have to give the ball up because they can't find a shot. So, for all of the people saying, like, he's not that great on offense, okay, he's not an amazing offensive player, but that's not what he's being asked to do. He's being asked to be that great defensive player that he really is, and that's why he got a big contract. That's why he is still on the Hornets. That's why he's still a starter. That's why he's still there, because he's still contributing in a huge way, and they are really going to miss that while he's injured. So, to be honest, I think this takes them out of the playoffs altogether without KiddGilchrist, because a lot of their wins were based on defense. And without KiddGilchrist, the defense goes down a lot. in efficiency and everything. I mean, looking at the stats, KiddGilchrist was better, or I mean, the Hornets were better when KiddGilchrist was on the floor. So I think this takes them out of playoff contention. I don't think they get an 8th seed or a 7th seed. I don't think they even make the playoffs now with KiddGilchrist gone. And that's really unfortunate because I really was looking forward to seeing this Hornets team play with the new additions they had. But this hit of KiddGilchrist is huge. And like, there wasn't that many big injuries to happen this preseason, which I was excited about. Not many people were going down with big injuries. There were still people like coming back from some. But for the most part, we didn't see that many big injuries, especially to bigger players who were bigger components to their team. But then MKG went down, and it was pretty sad. I mean, I feel for the Hornets. I wish them the best of luck, but it's definitely going to be tough with MKG out. Well, anyway, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Fisch's Friday Rant. Thank you for watching for those who watched on YouTube. Thank you for listening for those who subscribe to the podcast or follow our SoundCloud. And if you don't do one or the other, make sure you check out the YouTube, SoundCloud, podcast, on iTunes, everything. Make sure you check out the website, www.basketball-society.com, and our Twitter, @bballsociety_. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.